Super warp speed video here. I was just in the middle of a homework assignment and I came across something and I had to say, like, what in the world were they thinking? And sometimes people are not thinking, they're not knowledgeable about things. They don't understand that it matters so much what you name something. I remember sharing this a long time ago. If your Uncle Barry is a drunk, you don't want to name your child Barry. Okay? Anything that has a quality or characteristic, with a particular name, you don't want to pass that on and tie yourself to that. So when I saw, and I'm not even sure I can turn it around now, but okay, I'll just share about it. I'm doing an assignment, and I'm not like the best history buff there is, but I'm doing some reading for a history class, and it talks about the influenza pandemic, okay? And then as I started reading more, I saw that they had a ship called the USS Leviathan. And I'm just like, okay, Leviathan. If you have no knowledge on what that is, you can just go to the root word and see. To name a ship that and then not expect any calamity, that's like, I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, the ship, and I'm just going to share with you a couple of things that were tied to this. The influenza pandemic, there was the USS Leviathan, the Spanish flu, the King of Spain, the first famous person to die. The pandemic kills 30 million people. 675,000 Americans die. Wilson gets sick in Paris. Health provision in League of Nations. So to me, it matters what you name something. And this doesn't just mean, not to name a ship something, but to be aware what you name your children, be aware what you name your business, be aware what you call yourself. I still, to this day and age, hear a lot of Christian women referring to themselves as diva. And if you look up the word diva, you know what it means. You are not God. You are not a female God. Understand the root of words when you're using them and attaching them to your brands and things that you're doing. It's just so, well, I want to say mindless, so I'm just going to say that. It's mindless because when we pray and we seek God, He will give us insight. When we do things on our own, it's not the Lord telling you to name it diva, because He's a jealous God and He wants and deserves all the glory. I remember I had friends back in New York that used to laugh at me because I refused to drink Sprite. Why? Because you look up the word Sprite. What does Sprite mean? What is a Sprite? It's like a demon, okay? A demon. I remember they had jackets called Bugaboo, and that's the same thing. It's a demon. Be aware of what you are wearing, using, drinking, all of that stuff. The enemy wants you to become comfortable with demonic symbols in your life, and what you call something or what you name something matters. Sometimes we're thinking, oh, I just came up with this creatively, when realistically the enemy gave it to you so that you can name something and just have a brand out there that pays homage to the evil one. You don't want that in your life. You don't need that in your life. I remember the same thing. I remember people going on and on about hosting a wedding at a place called the Puck Building. I believe that's in Manhattan. And I'm like, okay, do you know what a puck is? I mean, we have to look up all of these words. As Christians, we shouldn't be ignorant. We should be aware of all the names that demons go by, imps go by, all of those things. Same thing with those little yellow tic tac looking things called minions. That's not a good thing. That's not a good thing. But we take our children to those movies. We're just buying into the dumbing down of what the enemy is actually up to. You don't want to do that. And we can't afford to sleep. We cannot afford to just be passive. We have to be active and engaging, and we have to make our lives a place where the enemy has no fertile ground and he does not feel comfortable. And if he comes, he knows he's going to be evicted because his time is limited with someone who has authority and knows the true power of the living God. So just be aware of these things. And I mean, I used to get laughed at like, you're being too deep. Okay, but then the ones who are not being that deep are the ones needing deliverance and having issues because you let too many things slide in your life. So it's important what you name things. Before you name anything, before you participate in anything, know what the name means, know what it symbolizes before you partake, because partaking is coming into agreement with those things, okay? So, you can listen or you cannot listen. This is a very touchy subject because sometimes people think it doesn't take all of that. But when you want to be free, when you want the enemies to stop harassing you and to give you back your stuff, it takes all of that and then some.